It does give you kind of a good overview of it and just how much is still wooded and what our students explore on a daily or weekly basis. All right, a couple of quick facts. Right now we have 1,170 students, and we have 102 seniors that are actually off doing their senior projects. And one of our wonderful traditions at Academy is called the Final Bell. And this is a picture from 2022. And the seniors, on their last day on campus, before they go off and do their senior projects, they spend the day with their college t-shirts or sweatshirts on, and they go around and they visit old teachers that they had maybe back in kindergarten or pre-K, and they take care of things. And they spend the day on their senior quad, and then as the bell gets ready to ring, as it does every day, they hold hands and they all rush in at the end. And that's a ceremony that's been going on for a long time at Academy, and it's just a really wonderful part of the school. And if they started here in kindergarten or pre-K, they're considered lifers, and so we have quite a few lifers in this group. I'm going to turn it over now to Gabriel Painter, and he'll share some information about responsive.
Good evening, everyone. So there's a lot of information on this slide, so you're going to get this information as well. So I'm going to kind of go over just a little bit of what Responsive Classroom is. We are a responsive classroom school, which means all of our teachers have been trained in responsive classroom practices. It's basically an education framework where we value social-emotional competencies just as much as academics. So in order for our students to really achieve academics, we have to create a space for them to develop these social-emotional competencies and get along together and create a classroom community. So these are kind of the overall arching principles of responsive classroom. And I'm going to take you a little bit through kind of what that looks like with our CARES acronym. So CARES are the main social-emotional competencies that we work with, and students from Explorers all the way through grade 5. You'll hear this acronym quite a bit. They'll talk about these words. So CARES stands for cooperation, assertiveness, responsibility, empathy, and self-control. We've brought in a new curriculum this past year that's came out from Responsive Classroom. It's called 5-5. And what's really nice about this is all of our teachers are trained in this program as well. And they're teaching these social-emotional competencies throughout the school day. So students are learning common language throughout the building. They know expectations no matter where in the building they're going with whatever teacher they're working with. And what's really nice about this is each grade level has these competencies broken up into different lessons, and teachers teach responsively to what's going on in the classroom. So if they're noticing something in their classroom where the students need some support with cooperation, they find lessons that fit with the needs of the students. And so Responsive Classroom takes up a lot of our different ways that we teach our students in terms of the way we talk to students, the vocabulary we're using, how we form groups, interactive learning structures. But a main component of Responsive Classroom that's really, really powerful in our school is our morning meeting. Every classroom throughout our school, if you walk into between the minutes about 8:05 and 8:30, you'll see in every classroom students participating in a morning meeting. And this comes all the way from Explorers all the way through grade 5. It's a really great way to start the day. And the morning meeting, it has 4 components. So the students learn different greetings, and they learn how to greet each other in different ways. There's always a share. And in the share portion, they might be sharing something about themselves. They might be sharing something that's maybe academic in a book they've read or something in another class they're in. There's always a group building activity, so a way the students are learning how to collaborate. And there's always a morning message to set up the students for success. And you'll see in a message like this, a lot of the words that are highlighted are words that they are working on within the 5-5 curriculum. So you see words like persist, persevere, challenge, and disappointed, which kind of goes to show when the students walked in that day, this is kind of going to guide them for their conversations in morning meeting. And then every day, at the end of the day, they end in a very similar way with a closing circle where the class comes together again for the last 15 minutes. And it's kind of a reflection of the day and a way to close out the day together. So you'll hear a lot more about Responsive Classroom throughout your time here at the lower school, but that's kind of a quick little overview of it.
Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about arrival and dismissal. And here's a picture of Carline in action in the morning. I know the infamous Carline, it's like legend out there in the CA community, but it's really not too bad. Let me tell you a little bit about what arrival at school looks like. So from 7 to 7:45 a.m., the children may participate in supervised play up in the Barton Room. The Barton Room is one of our gyms. There are teachers up there with all kinds of just manipulatives and games and coloring pages that the children can use and just hang out until about 7:45. For our Explorer and Pre-K families, we do ask that parents walk the children up to the Barton Room at least until the children start to get to know the routine of how to get there, and we will make sure we share that path with you. You can park in the athletic lot and come in the athletic doors and head upstairs. It's okay if children have an older sibling who already knows how to get there. You can have your child walk with them once they're comfortable. So from 7 to 7:45, the kids are supervised. And then at 7:45, the teachers who are on duty in the Barton Room line the children up, get everybody organized, and then they head to the classrooms. Outside, starting at 7:45, if children are arriving through car line or bus, then we have them go directly to their classroom. There's a little bit of a buffer time, 7:40 to 7:45, where we know if a child is getting out of their car, by the time they walk up to the Barton Room, it's going to be time to turn around and come back. So when the weather's nice, about 7:42, we stop the car line, we just say, kids come on out and line up on the sidewalk. We're out there supervising them, and then at 7:45 we send them to the classrooms. This gives the teachers time to get the classroom set up, and at 7:45 till about 8:05, it's kind of open-ended activities. The children are getting settled in, they're unpacking their backpacks, checking in for the day, reading the morning message, and doing those kinds of things. Some things about car line. Please don't get out of your car. I know it's super tempting as the line is moving to want to get out and help the children out of the car, help them unbuckle, but we are out there to do that. Mark and Gabriel and I are out there every morning, and we also usually have, for the first 3/4 of the school year, we have an Explorer teacher out there helping us as well. And we will get the children out, we'll help them get their backpacks on their backs, get them to the stairs, and then once they head up the steps and into the building, there's basically a fire brigade of teachers, and they're helping the children get to their classrooms. So we make sure everybody gets to where they need to be going. Now, that being said, the first day of school, we know it's fun to walk the children in and see their classrooms and take those special pictures for the first day, and you are more than welcome to do that. And then we ask after that first day of school that you allow the children to start building those independent routines and coming in on their own. Going back to the car line, so as we said, we're there to help. Please have your child ready. So as you get up and pull up along the curb and you see that we're ready to start opening the doors, the kids, it's super helpful if they are ready with their backpack in their hand, you've got them unbuckled and they're ready to pop out of the car. Use only the passenger side for drop-off. That is the side that is along the curb as you pull up. It's just not safe to have children getting out on the driver's side. Students, we encourage the students to be able to unbuckle on their own, and I'm sure I've said this before to other parent presentations when we've been talking to Explorers and Pre-K. I know that you're probably nervous about teaching your child how to unbuckle their own car seat. That's okay, we understand that. And so if you want us to help them get unbuckled, we ask that you pull all the way to the very front of the car line. Those first couple spaces, that's where I'm standing and one of the Explorer teachers is standing, and we can help the kids get unbuckled. Sometimes we even need to, lift them out of their car seats because they're still little people, and we help them get situated and head into this building. And it's really important that we don't have cell phones being used during that time. There's just a lot of moving parts during car line, and for the safety of everyone, we just ask that you not have your cell phones out during that time. Okay, dismissal. Thinking about this, it's super helpful if at car line, one of the last things you say to your child as they're getting out of the car is how they're going to get home. So if it's a bus day, or if it's a car line day, or a case day, if you say that to the kids, that helps them remember. And they actually, the first thing they do is they walk into their classroom. In almost every classroom, they check in by showing how they're getting home. And so, you know, the days are long, and sometimes we get to the end of the day and the child says, I don't remember how I'm getting home. We can look back at the check-in board and we can find that. So dismissal, again, we have carpool. This is probably the easiest way to pick up your child, to come through the carpool line. You do need to get registered in the school pass app with your license plate. And by registering your license plate, when you drive past one of the sensors, either at this end of campus or that end of campus, the sensor reads your license plate and it sends us a notification that you are on campus. And then we know to send your child out to Carline. If you have multiple people picking up your child, register all of those license plates. And you put the license plate in, and then it is attached to your child's name. So if there's a nanny or an older sibling or a grandparent, that will alert us to send your child out regardless of who's picking them up. We also give everybody a name card to display on your visor. And that's important. Even though we get alerted that you're on campus, we still need to know which car belongs to which family. So as you pull into the car line, we ask you to flip down your visor. Your last name is there. And then the teachers who are out on the sidewalk can say, oh, there's the Wilson car. Come on down from the blacktop. Hop in your car. You know, yes, you'll notice that sometimes teachers do start to, so far into the school year, they'll start to recognize cars. But we have a range of people out there doing the duty, and it's always rotating, so it's important that you have your name displayed for us. And if you ever lose one, we can just make you a new one. So again, make sure you're registered in School Pass, and keep your name card in your window until your child is in the car. Sometimes people will flip it down, and then they'll see that a teacher has called the name and they'll flip it back up, but then we still don't know who goes with the car. So if you could keep it down the whole way until your child is in. CASE. CASE is an acronym for Children's After School Experience. And we also have ASAs, which are after school activities. Those are offered quarterly. But CASE is something that is offered every single day after school. You may use it every day. You may use it once in a while, but it's there for you. What we encourage you to do, regardless of whether or not you know your schedule yet, is to go ahead and get registered. So if your child is registered and for some reason you're running late and you're not able to get to school in time to pick up your child, when Carline is over, if we have children who are still waiting for a parent, we'll just say, hey guys, let's go down to CASE. We'll get a snack, you'll play with your friends, and your parents will be here soon. But if they're not registered, we can't have them join CASE. And just so you know, you only pay for CASE when you use CASE. So there's a daily rate or there's a weekly rate, and you can use it as needed. Bus riders will go directly from their classroom down to the buses. We have teachers using the School Pass app to check children into their buses. So the children come out, they meet a teacher on the playground, they say, I'm riding the Olentangy bus, I'm riding the Bexley bus. The teachers check them in on the app, and then we know that that child is on the bus. So let's say you come through Carline, and you say, wait a second, my child was supposed to come to Carline today, and we can check it. We say, actually, they got on the bus. So you'll know that then. And you'll also get a notification on your School Pass app when the bus departs from school. Pre-K and Explorers are not allowed to ride the bus yet. Children need to be in kindergarten and 5 years old in order to ride the bus. And you can find bus registration online.
All right. Well, that's a lot of information about Carline. Wow. It's best to just experience it a few times, and you'll become seasoned pros. Something that's really enjoyable by our students is our lunch program here, and it's provided by Sage, which does the dining here. And so the lunch, the Explorers, they eat in their classrooms, and the food is plated for them. That's a license for our Explorer program. It has to be plated. There's lots of options that they have every day that come into the classrooms. The pre-K, we have a smaller room over here. It's called the Westwater room off the main dining room. They come in, and part of their food is plated, and part of it they can ask for more and get more food. And then kindergarten is in this room right where you're sitting. They eat in here, and these windows are shut like they are now. And then we have 2 different lunch times right now. We have first and second in one shift, and then grades 3, 4, and 5 in the other shift. And these doors back here are opened. The main line is open, and all the way down. And all the way down at the end, these starting in grades 1 through 5, the students can go up, and there's always, every day, there's 2 types of soup. There's a vegetarian option and another option. There's a big salad bar. There's lots of deli meats. There's fruit, several types of fruit each day, some different types of salads. And then in the main line, you can go online and you can actually see what the food is going to be each day and each week. We would recommend that either at night or maybe on the way into school, talk to your child about different options. Your child will likely come home right through this door right here is the most popular section, which is the pasta bar. And your child will often come home saying they just had pasta. And it may be true that they eat a lot of pasta, but there are so many other great options. Encourage them to eat that, but they really like the pasta. There's also something new that our dining services started this year, which is a food kind of bar for those that have allergens. They take most of the allergens that students have here. And so what it does is it gives them an option. Instead of going up and having to get like a plated food of things for their allergies, they can go to this one section, and it's a variety of food that they know that it's safe for them to eat. Stephanie Campbell, the director of our dining hall, she quickly gets to know all the students and knows what they can eat and what they shouldn't eat. There's also several different types of international food that changes every day. It's a fantastic dining service. We also will be inviting all parents to come in on your child's birthday, and you can bring in two adult or a sibling and a parent, and you join your child for lunch on their birthday. If their birthday is in the summertime, you're going to learn about half birthdays. We celebrate half birthdays here, so you can come in and enjoy lunch for their half birthday. We also have a morning snack that's provided, and that's a variety of different food that is brought to the classroom. For those parents that like to volunteer, it's one of the more popular volunteering opportunities. You get this cart, and you pick it up at the dining hall, and you go to every single classroom dropping off snacks. It's a great way to kind of get to see what's going on in every single classroom. Students are also able to bring a piece of fruit or a vegetable if you want to have a second snack. So no other snacks or lunches are brought in, but you're welcome to bring in any fresh vegetables or fruit that your child can eat. And then the other part that's really important is any allergies that your child has. It's important that the nurses know and the classroom teachers. We also have a dessert every Friday in the dining hall, and that's a very popular day. And we have options for those that have, if they have a dairy or gluten, some sort of dietary restriction, they always have an alternate dessert that's oftentimes quite a bit bigger than the rest of the desserts, and the others feel a little bit out of place. But Sage does a great job, and we hope you'll come in and enjoy lunch with your child.
Thank you. My name's Becky Hoagland, and I'm one of the 3 school nurses that we have at Columbus Academy. We make up 2 full-time positions, and so we have 2 nurses on campus each day, all day long. This is a picture of us in our office. I'm on your left. Janet Fireman's in the middle, and Teresa Bowman is on the far end. So we are always here, we're always available to you, and we always are really involved with your children. Some of the things that we do in the nursing office, obviously, is first aid. We also give a lot of medications, both prescription and over-the-counter medications, with your approval. We do state-required vision and hearing screening on children. We review all student health records, and then we write care plans for anyone that has any kind of a life-threatening condition, and then those care plans are disseminated to the appropriate teachers. We also review all of the health records for immunizations. So we try to make sure we will be in contact with you if we see that your child needs additional immunizations to be in school. One thing that we will be calling you about is when your child is sick. And everybody's going to have a sick child at some point. And we hope that you're available to answer the phone, that you can, and if you're not available, we want to make sure that you have a backup plan. If you're not available to pick up a sick child, please think about this now and who would be available if you were not available. And we're going to call you if your child obviously is vomiting, if your child just seems sick, or if your child has a fever. And we ask for you to keep your child home if your child is sick. We really do appreciate it if you keep your kids home if they have a fever of 100 degrees or greater, even with the use, without the use of medication. And that's for 24 hours. Or anything else that would be considered like a communicable illness, like strep throat, COVID, for example, any of those things. And we are available to talk about any of these and review it with you if you have questions about it. But we really do try to control the spread of illnesses in the classroom, so we appreciate it if you keep your kids that are sick home. If your child needs medication at school, either over-the-counter or prescription medication, just let us know and we can make sure you have the proper forms for that, and we're happy to do that. Then the next slide. Okay. In your packets that you received tonight, there is some information on our online school health form system called Final Forms. You will receive an email invitation sometime in June, probably early June, asking you to create your login and then complete all the sections of Final Forms that give us all the health information. Can you go to the next slide? This is, when you open it up, this is what it looks like. You will see on this, where it's all green, you'll see each section there, and you'll want to fill out, you'll click on each section and fill it out. When you first open it, the sections will be red, but as you complete them and then sign it at the bottom, that section will turn green. And you'll notice that some of these areas are not necessary for lower school, like down at the bottom where it's talking about the Ohio High School Athletic Association, that you will not see that for the lower school children, but you'll see just the sections you need to fill out for your student. You'll also see on that there's the immunization record. We ask you to please input each immunization that your child has had, and if you have any problems with that, you can send us the record, but we ask that you do that, and also send us a hard copy. You will see a medication section, the third one down. That is a list of over-the-counter medications that we have in the nurse's office, and then you can grant permission for us to administer those to your child while at school, so that you don't have to pick your child up or even have to come to school if they need something like a dose of Tylenol. All right. Now, every student will need to do Final Forms, whether you're in the Explorers program or you're all the way up into the 12th grade. You will be asked to do this every single year, update it and sign it. It's all filled out from the previous year, so sometimes all you need to do is go in and sign it at the bottom, and that's all we need. But we do have to have that by law each year. The students that are in pre-K and the Explorers program have additional paperwork to do. And if your child is in that program, you should have that in your packet tonight. It is another form that looks like this. It's a 2-page form, and it does have to be filled out on paper and signed by your child's pediatrician, as well as the date of the last physical exam. And this gets a little tricky because if your child was at the doctor's office for a wellness check in February, you have to send this form in before school starts and have it signed with that February date put on it, and then we keep track and we will send you a new blank form before the 12 months is up. So if it is February, then you'll get a form at the beginning of February or the end of January saying we need a new physical exam on file. So we will keep up with you, and if we don't get it, I will keep calling you. I think that's all I really have to say, except that if you have any questions or concerns and you want to speak to the nurse, please feel free to contact us, and it's really easy. If you just email nurse@columbusacademy.org, it goes to all three of us, and you will get a response. Thank you.
Thank you. Absences, and kind of following up what we were talking about with illnesses, if you have some planned absences, there's a form that you can find, and that's on our CA website, or we can get you a printed copy of that. But it's not needed for doctor's appointments or religious observances, but it is really important that you let the school know, and you can do that on School Pass. You can go in and do that. We do expect all Academy families to use the holiday schedule that we give you. We have a really generous holiday schedule, and it's really important that your children are here, except if they, of course, are observing one of your religions, or if they have a doctor's appointment or they're sick. But it's also important that if there's an emergency or something, or an illness, you let the lower school office know. And following up with that is just a few things that we ask. And this oftentimes is more challenging for you as new parents, because some of you plan way in advance, and you may say, oh, we've already booked a trip. That's absolutely fine. But moving forward from this time, we always want you to use the school calendar. It comes out well in advance. We also ask, we know it's cheaper if you leave a few days earlier, or you come back a few days later, but of course that really puts your child behind. Not in so much an academic way, but the routines, especially if they're younger, it's really important that they're here and in the classroom every day. And it also just models the importance of education to your child, that it's not, if you're not sick, you should be in school, and that's kind of what we believe in. So just a few favors that we ask as you get started. Mr. Painter.
Thank you. So just a couple of quick things about some policies we have here. So we don't allow students to have phones or smartwatches on them at any time. So if you want to send your child with a phone, or if they need a phone for any reason to contact you, it has to be turned off and put in their backpack all the time. We should never see it at school. We have seen more and more students getting smartwatches. So smartwatches are also not allowed to be at school, or basically any device that connects to the internet. So I don't know what will be next, but whatever it is, just if it connects to the internet, it's not going to be allowed at school unless it's their school issued iPad. So children can wear watches, things like that, but just not smartwatches, and they have to be in their backpack and turned off until they leave school. A couple things about how if students don't come at the beginning of the day, or if they leave anytime early. So you'll get to know Mrs. Sailing very well. She works in the front office, and she's the person you'll always contact if your child is going to be tardy, if your child's going to be absent, or if you're picking up your child early for any reason. So in the front office, the doors are always locked to get into the school. So when you come into the front office, you can buzz in, and Michelle Sailing will let you in. And when you come into the front, there's an iPad, and the students will get to know their own pins. You actually have a separate pin than they have, and you'll get all this information when you get the School Pass app. But if you're visiting for any reason, if you're going to a classroom to celebrate a birthday, if you're going to read a story, or going into the classroom to visit, you'll have a pin number that you'll put in to sign in, and you'll get a badge to wear throughout the day. Your student will also have their own pin as well. So if they come in tardy for any reason, they always come into the office, they get buzzed in, they check in, they enter their own pin, and we always are there to help them do that. And that way it's notified in School Pass that the child is at school. And then at the same time, if you're leaving for any reason, or the child is leaving early for any reason, there's a sign out in the front office as well. Just a way for us to keep track of who's in the building at all times and knowing where the students are. So again, anytime that you know that your child will be absent or tardy, Mrs. Sailing will be the contact for that, as well as your child's classroom teacher, so we can make sure that they're all set up for that. A couple other things about communication. So you'll learn as you go through the lower school too, especially in different grades. Teachers communicate in different ways, but some ways that are pretty standard across the board for communicating and knowing what's going on in the school. Every 2 weeks, Mr. Hanson will send out a update, which is a letter just talking about all the things that are going on in the lower school, important dates you need to remember, and just basically the all-around things going on in the lower school. So you'll receive that through email. every 2 weeks. We also have a publication called The Viking Voice, which is released by our communications department, and that has a lot of information, not just in the lower school, but also things that are going on around the whole school, as well as outside activities beyond the school day. Our parent association also sends out information, and that comes from the parent community. It's also a lot of volunteer opportunities, ways to get involved with other parents, so you'll receive information from them. And then more specifically to what's going on in your child's classroom, each teacher will send out, and teams do it a little differently grade to grade. A lot of teams send out weekly emails that come on the weekend, and that's a lot of information that's specific to what's going on in your child's classroom. A lot of it's about the curriculum that's going on that week, things to know for the upcoming week. If there's like an outdoor week or something special where they need to wear, outdoor clothing, you'll get that information from your child's teacher. The school website's also a great resource. We also have an Instagram feed, a Twitter feed. So those are things you can also find updates. Something that's a really big one that I know is an app that a lot of you will end up wanting to get, and you'll learn a lot about this at Back to School Night with your teacher. We have an app called Seesaw, which is a way that a lot of teachers will post pictures of what's going on throughout the school day, so you can, on your phone, you can see pictures of the kids. They're having Forest Friday, they're outside in the woods. You'll see pictures. The students also have their own Seesaw page, so it kind of becomes its own digital portfolio. So they might take a picture of their math journal, or they may take a picture of a project they're working on, and you're able to see it in their feed. And you're the only one who can see it. It's not open to other parents, things like that. So it's a very personalized digital portfolio, so you can see your child's work throughout the day, as well as see pictures that are going on, and communicating with your teachers in that way. So again, that's a lot of information, but when you have Back to School Night at the beginning of the year, your child's classroom teacher will talk to you a lot more about the specific ways that information will be communicated.
Okay, so just to kind of reiterate some of the things that Gabriel said, these are some helpful information and resources. These are links. We will send this whole slideshow out to you, so you will have access to these. So in your new parent packet and online, you can access the dress code, the supply lists, key calendar dates for the new school year, and then the family resource page is really a wealth of information. That is online. If you go to the Columbus Academy website, go to the parent tab. It's one of the two options you can click on. And the parent resource page has links to every newsletter that's been sent home from the office, from the lower school, from the head of school. Pretty much everything you want to know or need, any kind of form, those things are located there. And then the school supply lists, did we put that in, or is that something that's coming up?
It's in there. It's in there.
Okay, so the school supplies are going to be, I think we shared some of these at the new family the rising grade level coffees, but it's also probably in your packet. There's a QR code. If you want to use that, it's a super easy way to order your school supplies for this year. It's kind of like one click and you're done. And our goal is to have those items sitting on your child's table or desk when they arrive for the ice cream social on that Monday. Oh, great, and there's a list in there too. Okay, and we'll make sure that you have the QR code to access. Actually, the link for supply lists takes you to the page where you can just click for your specific grade level. And somebody had asked, is this a fundraising thing for the school? It's absolutely not a fundraiser for the school. It's really just a convenient way for you to not have to run around and find all the very specific things that the teachers may list on that school supply list. Okay, so for the early childhood, that would be the Explorers and the pre-K. They are going to have some adjusted schedules for that first week of school. Kindergarten through 5th will have a regular schedule, but on the next slide, this shows the week 1 logistics for the Explorers. So for everybody, Monday is, there is no school for lower school on Monday, but we do have the ice cream social that evening. Starting on Tuesday, for the Explorers, 8 to 9, we're going to have the Explorers just getting to know their classmates and their teachers while we have a coffee over here for the parents. It's just kind of a dip your toe in the water kind of morning. And then Wednesday and Thursday, the children will come from 8 to 10, 8:05 to 10, to kind of lengthen their morning a bit and get used to routines. And then on Friday, all Explorer students will be dismissed at 11:25. Starting the following week, the first full week of school is when we'll get into those full day, half day, 3 full day, 2 half day schedules according to what you have selected for your child. Drop off and pickup will be at the classroom Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're going to start with carpool on Friday. And those shortened mornings give the teachers a really good chunk of time to practice those dismissal routines with the children without a crowd around them, without all the other classrooms dismissing at the same time. And then the week 1 logistics for the pre-K, it's a little easier to follow. All the students in pre-K will attend school from 8:05 to 11:25. So they'll all be basically following the half-day schedule. And we have found that this routine for the pre-K children just really allows them to settle in a low-stress kind of way. The teachers can introduce routines a little bit at a time over that first week. One of those routines will be coming over and learning what it's like to sit in the Westwater room, and they'll have a snack someday, a couple of the days, and then on Friday they'll have a little pretend lunch, like a smaller lunch, to help them get ready to transition into their full schedules the following week. Lisa and Lauren, did you want to talk about this? Thanks, Lauren.
Okay, I'll be brief. Hopefully everybody received the Evite to this. This is just a new initiative we're trying to do so that you all have hopefully either heard from your host family or will be hearing from your host family. It's a current family that's in your rising grade, but this is just an opportunity for you to connect with them, very casual, sort of maybe exchange contact information, set a time to maybe meet up with kids. We will have, certainly come, because if your host family can't make it, there will be other current families there, so you can meet them from your grade as well. And then you should hear from your host family, hopefully a few times over the summer. And they're a great resource too for questions. Some people might want to know a bit more about dress code. Hey, I got my, shorts here, is that okay? Friday night football games in the fall are a big one, and that's a good time to meet up with your host family too and make a plan to meet up there. The kids really, really like those opportunities as well. Oh, and then this event takes place, August 2nd. This is an opportunity for you to bring your children with you. So this is for all new students to the lower school. And the admissions office puts this on. We do a little scavenger hunt through the lower school. So they'll get used to going to certain places throughout the lower school. We'll have popsicles and things on the playground so they can get to know some of the other new students. So just new students. We'll have a couple maybe parent representatives there as well, but also helps sort of get them in the habit of coming back to school in early August. And then with the ice cream social being that Monday, a couple weeks later, it kind of gets them in the habit. Usually during this time, we end here at the Viking Corner, and then coming back, our clothing closet or our clothing exchange is usually out as well. So those are good opportunities to, as you're thinking about dress code and things.
And then the ice cream social, this is a wonderful opportunity. We ask all families to come here, and you get a chance to go into your child's classroom, meet the teacher, meet the other students. Usually that part lasts from about 4 o'clock to 4:05 when the kids want to get outside and eat their ice cream sundaes. So you may have to slow that part down, but you can come anytime during the 4 to 6. And if you do the supplies through the school, they'll be on a bag on the desk ready to go. If you have bought your supplies at Target and different places, you just bring them in and you can get settled. The locker for the older students who have lockers. And then everybody goes outside and there's ice cream sundaes to enjoy, and you get a chance to meet other parents, and your children get a chance to meet other students in the class. Okay, we just wanted to quickly go through a couple of the fun traditions we have in the lower school.
Little Dribblers in third grade is a lot of fun. This has been a tradition for about 25, 30 years, I believe, and all of my kids did it. My oldest is turning 29 in a couple of days, and he still remembers. I think he still has his little dribbler shirt. This is a lot of fun for the kids. Every year in third grade they get to do this. Lots of time outside. Here's some of our explorers in action. They start from about a week into school. They're out there doing some exploring, and all of the children throughout the lower school have opportunities to do these kinds of fun things. Every kind of weather, we're out there. It doesn't matter. Rain, shine, snow. The only thing that keeps us in is lightning. And then campfire stories are a fun tradition every fall. Our librarians are wonderful. They set up a campfire. They basically camp out at the campfire every day, all day for a week. And the classes come out with their buddy classes usually. They roast marshmallows and make s'mores and have hot chocolate and get to hear fun stories and sing fun songs. This has been a tradition for many years as well. And then the kindergarten and grade 12 buddies. The kindergartners get to meet their senior buddies at Convocation, which is a big opening celebration for the whole school. I think the kids are, I think the seniors are are definitely more excited to get their kindergarten buddies that time. The kindergartners are a little bit like, what's happening today? But who is this person you're having me walk down the aisle with? But they have so much fun together. They get to do monthly activities. The kindergartners just finished writing advice to their senior buddies who are heading off to college. Somebody told me one of the teachers told me one this morning. It was like, don't forget me and take care of yourself and don't forget to brush your teeth. Those kinds of things. So it's like lifelong lessons being imparted by kindergartners to their senior buddies. All right.
And then we have a lower school strings program as well. So once the students are in third grade, they can start participating in our lower school strings program, which goes all the way through 12th grade. It's an after-school program, and they do several concerts throughout the year, so it's a great opportunity to get into the music program. We have a lot of really cool events that happen throughout the lower school, and this is a really great one that we love to highlight. The third graders do a wax museum, which is a great example of kind of a multidisciplinary unit. So they do a lot of work in their classroom learning about reading nonfiction and learning research. And then they work with one of our music teachers on public speaking. So they learn dramatic speaking. And then for art, they kind of create this background and they create a button in tech, and they actually become this historical figure. And it's really cool. It's in the gym, and they go all into it. It's really exciting. So that's a really big highlight of third grade for our students. And another big highlight in the lower school is we do a fourth grade musical every year. This year we did Frozen Junior, and it's really spectacular. The entire fourth grade participates in it, so they kind of get to decide if they want to have a big part, a small part, if they want to speak, if they don't want to speak, but all the students in the grade get up on stage and they do 2 performances of a musical. We did Madagascar Junior last year. It was wonderful. But it's a really great opportunity. The students learn a lot about being on stage. A lot of them get really excited about the arts because they're all part of this. Most of the rehearsals are at school. They start doing a few after school the week of. And what was really cool this year is we had Frozen Junior, or Frozen came through Columbus. And so earlier in the year, the actress who played Anna zoomed in with the students who were going to be in the show, and they got to ask questions. It was really cool. And she sang for them, yes. Yeah.
This may be my favorite picture of the whole slideshow. We also have a musician that comes every year, and he's been nominated for Grammys 3 or 4 times already. Unfortunately, he hasn't won, but he's just this incredible performer, and the kids love him, and the theater just rocks while he is here. He also works with the older students with some composition and things, and so all the students get to come to the theater and enjoy Justin Roberts, and we try and have him here every year. We also have a lower school family campout. and we started this about 5 years ago. We had, of course, with COVID, we had to stop it, and a thunderstorm ruined it one night for us, but we had it this past year, and it was just fantastic. We had to actually stop registrations because we had, I think it was over 70 families, many who have never set up a tent before in their life. And that's what we want. We have teachers that will come and they will help you find a site, and maybe we can go to the next slide here. You can see over the picture there on the left, and so we will have teachers come and help families set up their tents, and they get everything set up. We have a big pizza dinner. We have you can see there, Grace Gordon is our naturalist and also an explorer teacher. She leads some singing and some songs and a story, and then we tried to do a night hike, but the groups were just too big. So we're trying to figure out how we can do that and take in nature at night, but also try and deal with so many kids that are making lots of noises as well in nature. But if you've never come camping, this is the lowest risk camping you'll ever experience, because if it starts to rain, if your kids start to cry, whatever happens, you just get in your car that's in the parking lot, you go home, and you come pick up your tent the next day. And there's nobody's going to say anything that you didn't camp or anything like that. You come back and get donuts in the morning. And going to end on this. And back in 2019, this gentleman was our former athletic director, Dominic Facciola. And I'm going to read the letter because it may be a little hard to read, but this is from a third grade student, Claire. And she said, "Dear Mr. Hansen, this letter is coming from the head of the girls golf team committee. We would like to start a petition for a girls golf team. Girls should have a chance to play golf on a team just like the boys. Are you willing to let us start a petition? How many signatures will we need? Also, Esther, Leah, and Quincy are helping me. Love, Claire. P.S. I'm in 3C. P.S. We would like Columbus Academy to start sports for middle school and lower school too, which actually has started. But I share this because it was, I told her, I said, Claire, I don't really know why we don't have a girls golf team, and I don't have an answer. But let's get our athletic director to come to the school, to come to my office. We'll set up a time, and you can ask him questions. So these are the girls that wrote me the letter, and that's Dominic. And they're asking him, why don't we have a girls golf team? Why don't we have sport? And he said, all we need is, he went through the history of golfing at Academy, and he said, I think we need to have 6 golfers or 5 golfers, something like that, and then we will get a coach, and we will have a girls golf team. And they were, it was an opportunity for them to feel empowered, that they could write me a note and kind of get some answers. And the next slide is just a perfect example. In 2022, we were state champion. The girls golf team won the state championship, and I think, they weren't the ones that got this started, but they did get to see that there's now a girls golf team that was not there a few years ago, because there were enough golfers and this opportunity for them. And it also speaks to us as an explorer through grade 12 school. And that's one of the things that we really appreciate about our school, is that we have students from all ages, and our younger kids really look up to our older kids, and our older kids are wonderful role models for the younger students too. So the last part we'll go through is, oftentimes we get asked things to do this summer to prepare for life at Columbus Academy. We would say read, explore, play, build, get outside, limit technology, and encourage creativity. Stay away from the books you see at Costco, preparing your child for the 2nd grade and the 4th grade. If you want to do math, if you want to do reading, go to the library, get them some books, read to them if they're younger, talk about the books you're reading. If you want to do math, have them do some estimation when they go to the grocery store, do real life things. And your children are going to be in really great hands when they come here next year with the teachers we have. We have an incredible faculty in the lower school, as we do in the middle and upper school. And these are just some things we would say that will really prepare your child for success at Columbus Academy.